Kirk Frost never expected Jasmine's bombshell to explode like that. 1 second, he was denying, deflecting, and dodging the truth. The next, Jasmine's pregnancy news was everywhere. The set, the blogs, the fan pages, everyone knew. Rashida, she didn't cry, she didn't scream, she walked out. Not just from the scene, but from the marriage. Kirk thought he had time, thought he could spin it like he always had. But this time, there were no more excuses. No more staged apologies. It's just the raw truth. He had pushed Rashida too far, and now she was gone. Desperate and cornered, Kirk went on a mission to win her back. But what he didn't realize is Rashida had already moved on in silence. This wasn't just about cheating. It was betrayal stacked on betrayal. And when the truth came out, nobody was ready for what Rashida did next. The air inside the studio was so thick you could feel it sticking to your skin. Cameras were rolling. Makeup artists stood frozen. Even producers behind the monitors didn't dare breathe too loud. Everyone knew what was coming. But nobody knew just how bad it was about to get. Rashida had just stormed out, not mid-scene. Not mid-convo, she left mid-confession. 1 minute. Jasmine was nervously sitting on the Love and Hip Hop set, hands shaking, stomach slightly rounded. Voice barely above a whisper. I'm pregnant. Silence. All heads turned to our SHEEDA. Her expression didn't change. She blinked once, then again, then slowly stood up, picked up her mic pack, unclipped it from her belt, and said one thing. I'm not doing this. And she was gone. No yelling, no slap, no drink in the face, just a quiet exit that felt louder than anything Kirk had ever faced in his life. Kirk sat there, stunned. Jasmine looked like she wanted to disappear into the floor, and the crew, frozen. They had never seen Rashida walk out like that. Not in over a decade of an on-off drama. Producers ran after her. Rashida, please can we talk? We just need to know how you want to respond. She didn't even turn around. I did respond. She said, calm but cold. I walked away. That's your scene. And she kept walking. Later that night, Kirk was pacing in a parking lot outside a Buckhead lounge. Not because he wanted to, but because his phone was blowing up. Fan pages had already gotten wind of the pregnancy reveal. Somehow, somebody leaked the raw footage again. A behind-the-scenes screen recording of Jasmine, nervously rubbing her belly with the caption, I haven't told anyone yet, but I think the father's Kirk, was already trending. Kirk done knocked her up again. Rashida better leave. She walked out. Oh, it's real this time. Not another baby. This man is a menace. Kirk lit a cigarette with shaking hands. He tried calling Rashida for the 3rd time that hour, straight to voicemail. Back at home, Rashida sat in their kitchen, staring at the granite countertop like it was about to answer all the questions in her heart. She had done everything for that man, built a business from nothing, held down a family, stood by him when the world clowned her, forgave him publicly when he embarrassed her privately, and now this, another baby, with her, again. This wasn't just disrespect. It was a betrayal so deep, so bold, it felt surgical. Calculated, she texted her assistant. Cancel tomorrow's shoot and bring the prenup file. I want it re-reviewed. No emoji. No signature. Just facts. Kirk didn't sleep that night. He sat in his truck scrolling through old photos. Him and Rashida on vacation. Their kids. His birthday party she threw last year where she smiled for everyone even though she found out the day before that he was steaming Jasmine again. He thought she'd never leave. She always stayed, always forgave. But this, something about the way. She walked out. He knew she meant it this time. The next morning, Rashida showed up to her store, pressed before opening hours. She didn't come to work. She came to think. And that's when Kirk showed up. Uninvited, unannounced, unprepared. He looked exhausted. Black hoodie, red eyes, stubble on his jaw like he hadn't shaved in days. Please talk to me, he said. standing at the front door like a child in timeout. Her employees started panicking. Rashida didn't yell. She walked to the door. Unlocked. It stepped out and closed it behind her so her team didn't hear what was about to go down. "You've got 2 minutes," she said. Kirk exhaled. "I didn't know she was going to say it like that. Was going to tell you. I swear I was. I messed up. I messed up again. And I don't even know why. It didn't mean anything." Rashida blinked. "You got 1 minute." Kay kept going. "You know, I love you. You're my wife. You're my world. Everything I built with you. I know I've hurt you. You destroyed me," she said, voice low but full of fire. "This wasn't just a mistake. This was planned. You knew she was back in your life. You knew she was still hoping, and you let it happen." Again. Kirk swallowed hard. "I just wanted things to be okay again." Rashida leaned in. "You don't get to want peace after setting fire to everything. You don't get to cry now when you were silent while cheating. You don't get to tell me I'm your world when you treat me like an option." Kirk's eyes filled with tears. "I need you," he said. She looked him in the eyes. "I don't need you. Not anymore." And then she walked back inside. No hug. No forgiveness. No pause. She was done. Back on set, producers were scrambling. They needed Rashida to film something. A reaction, a confessional, anything. But she refused. "I'm not your puppet," she told Mona bluntly. "You let Kirk lie on camera for seasons. You let Jasmine play side chick in 4K. Now you want me to react? Nah, I'm gonna rebuild, and I'll let y'all film me from afar." Still, VH1 pressed on. They set up a redemption scene for Kirk, alone crying in a barber chair. Talking to an old friend about how much he'd messed up, it didn't work. Viewers dragged him when the scene aired, not this fake therapy session. Boy, BYE. Where was this emotion when you were cheating? He only crying because he finally lost her? And then came the moment no one expected. Rashida posted a photo, no caption, just her. In a new house standing on a balcony. Number ring, no makeup, just peace on her face. Fans knew what it meant. She left. Not just the marriage, but the house. The business ties. The joint bank accounts. Rasheeda Frost was starting over, and Kirk was finally alone. Kirk didn't recognize the silence anymore. The house was too quiet. The kind of silence that doesn't feel peaceful. It felt hollow. Rashida was gone. Her closet was empty. Her favorite mug wasn't on the counter, and her scent, that soft blend of cocoa butter and perfume, had vanished, like she had never been there. But the ghost of her absence haunted every room. He walked into the living room and stood in front. Of the wall were all their family photos. Used to be the only thing left hanging was a nail. The photos, Rashida took them. Every last one. He sat down on the couch and stared at the floor. This was the first time in years he didn't know what came next. Over the years, Kirk had messed up a lot. But there was always a cycle. He'd cheat. Rashida would confront him. They'd argue. He'd cry. She'd stay. The audience would talk. The producers would milk it. And the storyline would stretch across the next season. But not this time. This time, Rashida didn't just walk out. She disconnected. No phone, no texts, no surprise pull-ups, no let's talk. She was gone, and Kirk finally had to sit with it. Meanwhile, Rashida was moving fast. She rented a temporary condo in Midtown. Not too flashy, but high enough to see the skyline. A reminder that she could rebuild anything. From the ground up, within the first week of moving out, she met with a lawyer. Quiet, confidential, no camera crew. Just one goal. Untangle herself from Kirk Frost forever. "Do you want to freeze the business assets?" the lawyer asked. Rashida nodded. "Every LLC we own together, pause it." "I'm restructuring," pressed. "I'll cut him out of the operations by next month." "And the house? You can have it," she said. "Let him live in that empty box." Producers begged her. "To come back to set, we need your reaction," they pleaded. "You got it," she replied. "I left him. That's your scene." But they weren't giving up, so they offered her a private sit-down scene. filmed her way in her space. On her terms, she agreed, but only to control the narrative. The scene was simple. Rashida in her new condo, drinking tea, barefaced, glowing in a robe. No script, no glam. Just truth, the producer asked softly. What made you finally walk away? She didn't blink. It wasn't just the cheating. It was that I stopped recognizing myself. I used to be powerful, smart, business-minded. Then I spent the last few years fixing someone else's messes. I became a full-time rehab center for Kirk's ego. That's not a marriage. That's emotional labor. And I finally clocked out. Then the camera zoomed in slightly. Rashida looked dead into the lens. I love my kids. I built a brand. I survived public humiliation. But what I didn't survive? Loving a man who didn't love me enough to protect me. That's what broke me. Viewers were stunned. Clips of that scene flooded TikTok with trending hashtags. Hashtag clocked out, hashtag protect her or leave her. Hashtag Rasheeda saw the scene too. Alone on his phone, he replayed it at least 20 times. He hadn't cried in weeks. That night, he did. And the next morning, he showed up depressed again. This time, Rashida wasn't there. But her assistant was. You really need to stop doing this, the assistant said. Arms crossed. Please, just tell her. I don't want to give up, Kirk muttered. She already gave you 12 years of chances. And with that, she handed him a manila envelope. Thick, clean, cold, clean, cold. Inside, divorce papers. Kirk stood there, gripping the envelope like it might explode. Is she serious? He whispered. She's signing next week. The assistant replied. You've got 72 hours if you want to respond before it's finalized. Drove home in silence. But when he got there, another surprise was waiting. Jasmine, sitting on the porch, baby bump showing, sunglasses on. Looking tired? What are you doing here? Kirk asked. I needed to talk, she said. He sighed. Jasmine, this ain't the time. No, she said, standing. It's past time. She pulled out her phone, opened a recording, pressed play. It was a voicemail. Rashida's voice. Hi, Jasmine. Just wanted to thank you for finally confirming what I already knew, that Kirk was never planning on being faithful. You gave me the push I needed. You freed me. Jasmine looked at Kirk. She thanked me. And you still haven't said anything to me? You haven't checked in? Haven't supported this baby? We don't even know. I'm keeping it, Kirk, Jasmine snapped. Whether you step up or not, but the world knows now. And whether you like it or not, this baby connects us. Forever. Kirk was silent. For once, he had no words. Back online. The reaction to Rashida's sit-down was going viral. She'd earned more than sympathy. She earned respect. Fans started diming her stories of their own. Women who left toxic relationships, stayed quiet for years, and finally walked away. And Rashida. She reposted every single one. She also posted a new quote on her IG grid. I didn't fall out of love. I fell back in love with myself. That post hit 500K likes in 2 days. VH1 panicked. They had no resolution for the season finale. Rashida had pulled out of filming with Kirk. Jasmine was reportedly in contract hell. And Kirk, he was walking around Atlanta alone, trying to avoid being filmed in public while fans chanted, She walked out, bro. Let it go. But production wasn't giving up, so they convinced Kirk to film one final scene. It was simple. Him on his back. Porch sitting alone with a drink, holding the divorce papers in one hand. A photo of him and Rashida in the other. He looked into the camera and said, I didn't think she'd really leave. I thought I had more time. But I guess she ran out of mercy. Then the screen faded to black. The moment it aired, Twitter erupted. This man waited until the end to act right. Typical. You ran out a wife, not mercy. Good for Rashida. Let that man reflect in peace. And Rashida, she was on a plane. Filming her new docuseries in Los Angeles. sitting with women from across the industry who survived toxic marriages. Building something bigger than reality TV. She wasn't looking back. And Kirk, he finally realized he begged too late. While Kirk stayed locked inside that empty house, letting voicemail after voicemail pile up unanswered, Jasmine had other plans. She was done being silent, done being painted as the villain, done being the other woman who gets left in the shadows every time Kirk needs to clean up. So she did what any woman in her position would do in 2025. She went live. No glam, no filters, no script, just Jasmine, a couch, a loose tee stretched over her growing belly, and a ring light set up at just the right angle. Y'all been calling me everything but a child of God. She started, eyes already glistening. But since the world wants answers, I'ma tell the whole truth. All of it. Thousands poured into the live. Within 4 minutes, it crossed 60,000 viewers. Cast members, producers, pages. Even Kirk's daughter commented with a side-eye emoji. I ain't proud of everything I've done, Jasmine admitted. Yes, I slept with Kirk again. Yes, I believed him when he said Rashida was just staying for the brand, that they were. Done behind the scenes. But y'all acting like I was the only one doing wrong? She paused. Deep breath. Rasheeda bin had her own secrets too. Boom! The comment section exploded. WHEW. She said, IT. What she mean by that? Girl, don't start if you ain't gon' finish. And Jasmine? She finished. She ain't innocent, Jasmine said. She ain't as quiet as she wanna act. She been had somebody on the side way before I ever came back into the picture. Then she pulled out her phone and scrolled to a photo she flashed. For just 3 seconds. A blurry screenshot of what appeared to be a DM thread between Rashida and someone labeled T. The preview message said, I wish I had met you before all this. I would have chosen different. The comment section caught fire. Is that Tion from her old tour team? Wait, Rashida was stepping out too. I knew it wasn't all Kirk. But Jasmine didn't drag it further. She ended the live with, I ain't airing her out. I'm just saying. Don't put halos on people just 'cause they cry prettier. Within hours, blogs reposted the entire stream. Shade Room, Hollywood, Unlocked. On-site, YouTubers had clips up before the live even ended. Twitter was chaos.hash, RASHEEDA2. Hashtag Jasmine exposes everyone. Hashtag double standards ATL. Kirk saw it. Of course he did. And for the first time he smiled. See? He told his friend on the phone. I ain't the only one that got dirt. But his friend wasn't impressed. You still the only one that got her pregnant? You still lost your wife? Don't nobody care who Rashida Demed if she ain't out here making babies? And that's when it hit Kirk. Even with Jasmine airing dirty laundry, he was still the villain. RASHEED. Meanwhile, it was 3 hours into a photo shoot in LA when her team brought her the news. She read the headline. She saw the screenshot. She looked at the phone for a long time, and then she laughed. A full, chest-deep, soul-cleaning laugh. That's all they got. She said, wiping a tear from her eye. A 3-year-old DM. That man was on his 5th betrayal by then. Please. Her team asked if she wanted to respond. Nope, Rashida said. Let M talk. I've got something better. She picked up her phone, opened her notes app, and started writing something new. 2 days later, Kirk dropped his own live. The world had been waiting for it. He'd been silent too long. And everyone knew he couldn't resist the attention forever. He sat at the kitchen table, same one Rashida once designed herself, wearing a hoodie, with sad eyes and that infamous I'm still your man tone. I know y'all been watching everything go down, he started. And I just want to say I was wrong. He paused. I was wrong for cheating. I was wrong for lying. I was wrong for letting Jasmine back in my life. I hurt the woman I love. I hurt my family. And I probably can't fix it. Tens of thousands watched. Then he continued. But before y'all judge me, remember, this ain't a one-way street. There's stuff y'all ain't seen, stuff y'all don't know. I didn't come here to blame Rashida, but it wasn't all me. And that's where he lost them. Comments poured in, and you was doing so well. Accountability flew out the window, so she made you cheat. Gitfa. Then he made it worse. He held up a necklace one Rashida gave him 2 anniversaries ago. I still wear this every day. Said, I still love her. I'd take her back today if she'd let me. The comment section ripped him. You love her but kept Jasmine on speed dial. Love ain't cheating, Kirk. You ain't sorry, you just alone. Back in LA, Rashida was prepping for a surprise interview with Essence magazine. The cover story, reclaiming Rashida, love, power, and leaving loud. They asked her about the DM Jasmine leaked. She didn't flinch. That's old, she said. That was a human moment during a painful time. I talked, I vented, but I didn't act on anything. Then they asked the real question. Would you ever take Kirk back? She didn't blink. I would take back the version of me that thought he'd change, but him. No. He lost his wife. Not just his woman, his wife. It's a different kind of loss. Boom. Instant classic quote. That same week, young Jock posted a selfie with Rashida, captioned, "Real ones stand back up. Proud of you, sis." Even Scrappy commented, Kirk lost his greatest blessing. And fans, they declared it publicly. This ain't Rashida's story no more. This, her era. By the time the Essence interview went live, Rashida had become the talk of every group chat, podcast, and trending tab in Black entertainment. No longer the woman who stayed. She was now the woman who walked. And the public couldn't get enough of her transformation. But with every public win came a shadow lurking behind it. And this time, that shadow wasn't Kirk. It was Jasmine, and she had had enough. The pressure was mounting ever since her Instagram Live exploded. Jasmine had been dragged by blogs, pages, and even verified influencers. Nobody was siding with her anymore. Girl, you exposed yourself. Why are you keeping a baby with a man who ghosted you twice? You want sympathy, but you keep signing up for chaos. And now, with Rashida's Essence quote blowing up, Jasmine felt like she was being erased. Again, just another footnote in the Kirk Frost scandal saga. So she did what she always did when she felt cornered. She made noise the very next day. Jasmine posted a bombshell to her story. I'm leaving Atlanta. Y'all got what y'all wanted. Hope this show still eats without me. No further details. Just that, and social media erupted. Is she finally moving on? Not about ATL. This about losing control. Take your baby and heal, sis. For real. VH1 producers were shook. Jasmine leaving meant they were losing a major season thread. They reached out immediately. No answer. Her publicist responded 3 hours later. She's taking time off for her mental health and the baby. Please respect her privacy. But sources close to the show revealed Jasmine wasn't just walking away. She was also trying to pull the plug on footage. She's threatening to sue if they air her hospital scenes. One assistant leaked. She claims she never signed off on that day's release. Meanwhile, Kirk was spiraling again. The failed live, the rejection, the silence from Rashida. He hadn't been seen filming in over a week. When paparazzi caught him at a gas station, he looked disheveled. Hoodie up, shades on, no chain, no. Ring. When asked if he had spoken to Rashida recently, all he said was, "You'll know when she answers me." That statement didn't go unnoticed, because 2 days later, on the Love and Hip Hop Unfiltered reunion taping, a new digital series designed to go behind the scenes, Rashida was invited on as the first ever guest. What no one knew. Kirk was going to surprise her live on air. Rashida sat on the red velvet couch, calm and glowing. The host leaned in. If you had the chance to speak to Kirk right now, what would you say? She took a breath. I don't need to speak to him. I said everything I needed to say when I left the keys on the counter. The audience nodded, but then the host smiled nervously and said, "Well, funny you say that." The curtain pulled back, and there he was, Kirk, standing in a black suit. Hands behind his back, looking like he'd aged 5 years in 5 seconds. The room went silent. Rashida, she blinked, sat up slightly. "Wow," she said. "Really? Is this what we doing now?" The host looked like he regretted everything. He insisted. Kirk stepped forward. "I ain't come here to embarrass you. I came here because I've watched you walk away, and for the first time in my life, I understand why Rashida didn't flinch." "Oh, you understand now?" "I do," he nodded, "because the silence has been louder than any argument we ever had." He pulled out something from his back pocket. A folded letter. I wrote this last night. I didn't know if I'd have the guts to read it, but here goes. He opened it, voice shaking. "I never deserved the way you loved me, and I took advantage of the fact that you did. You held me down when I didn't even know how to stand up. You built me when I was breaking myself. I paid you back with lies, betrayal, and shame." Rashida looked at the floor. "I watched you make a business, raise our kids, save our brand, and I repaid you by tearing it down, one selfish decision at a time. If I could go back, I would stop myself from meeting Jasmine again. I would turn around. I would choose us." He folded the paper. "But I can't go back. All I can do is say, I'm sorry. And if forgiveness ain't in your heart, I still needed you to hear me say it to your face. You didn't deserve the man I was. I hope you find the love you always gave, even if it's not with me." He handed her the letter. Then he turned to walk away. But Rashida stopped him. "Wait." He froze. She stood. The audience was holding its breath. "You finally said what I needed to hear. For years, too. Late?" His head lowered. "And you're right. I don't hate you," she continued. "I'm just done sacrificing myself to keep someone else whole." She looked around the studio, then back at Kirk. "But thank you. Because without you breaking me, I wouldn't have built her." She turned and walked off the stage, calm. Steady UNBOTHERED. The next morning, clips from the show went viral. Again, that walk-off was iconic. She finally got the apology and still chose herself. Rashida just gave closure to every woman watching. But one comment hit harder than the rest. Closure ain't always a door swinging shut. Sometimes, it's a woman walking away from one that never should have been open. Later that night, Jasmine posted a photo of herself at the airport, caption, "No more tears, no more lies. Just me and my baby now." She was boarding a flight to Houston, and Kirk. He posted nothing, just a black screen with white text that said, "The damage is done." The Atlanta sky was hazy. The morning Rashida launched her new brand. Not a cloud in sight, but the air buzzed with energy, like something big was about to happen, and it was. Because for the first time since her marriage shattered, Rashida was no longer reacting. She was leading. The brand launch was more than just a press event. It was a statement. Held at a Looks rooftop venue downtown, the event had a theme written on every mirror, every wall, decal, every detail built from hurt. Designed with power. Guests arrived in all black formal wear. No press passes allowed, only handpicked influencers, close friends, family, and women-known business partners. The guest list: Elite Monica, Toya, Tammy Rivera. Even Candy Burris popped in with a camera crew. Rashida entered in a white silk pantsuit, clean, unbothered. The only hint of the storm she walked through was the fire in her eyes, on her wrist. No ring, on her lips. A blood-red shade from her new lipstick line called Walked Out. The symbolism was chef's kiss. The night kicked off with a mini doc screening of her journey. From early LHHATL clips to raw behind-the-scenes moments. Never aired. One clip had fans whispering immediately. A never-before-seen moment of Rashida crying alone in her bathroom. Whispering, "I don't even recognize myself anymore." Then the transition. Workout footage, business meetings, laughing with her kids, signing contracts. throwing out Kirk's old clothes. By the time it ended, people were standing up and clapping. Even Mona Scott-Young, who had been sitting quietly in the back, had to admit she's not just a cast member anymore, she's a movement. Meanwhile, Kirk was pacing outside the building. Yes, outside. He hadn't been invited, didn't get a +1, didn't even get the address officially. He got the location from an old stylist friend who felt sorry for him. And here he was, dressed in his tired black tee, looking up at a celebration that had nothing to do with him anymore. He almost turned around, but then he saw a billboard truck roll by with Rashida's face on it and the words, "Power looks good on you." That was it. He pulled out the envelope, the one he'd been carrying around for 3 days now. A letter to withdraw the divorce proceedings. He walked toward the entrance. Security stopped him. Name, Kirk Frost. The man looked at the list, then looked back at Kirk. "You're not on it." "I just need 2 minutes, Kirk pleaded. "She's my wife." The guard's face didn't change. Kirk took 2 steps back, then 3. Then he turned around and walked back to his car, envelope still sealed. Back upstairs, Rashida was owning the mic. "I named this brand Rebuild," she told the room, "because that's what women like me do. We build after betrayal, after humiliation. After breaking down, we rebuild." Applause. "And I know this brand isn't just about clothes or beauty. It's about a reminder that leaving isn't failure. It's faith in yourself." And then she dropped the surprise. "I signed a national retail deal last night. Rebuild will hit shelves across 84 stores next spring." The crowd erupted. Toya was crying. Candy threw her napkin in the air like it was church. Rashida smiled through it all, but behind her eyes was steel. She had finally stepped into her next chapter. But just as the celebration reached its high, Jasmine went live. From the delivery room. Yes, that delivery room. Face bare, hair tied up. Heart monitor softly beeping behind her. "Y'all," she whispered. "He's here." Within seconds, the viewer count jumped into the tens of thousands. She turned the phone slightly, revealing a tiny, swaddled newborn on her chest. No caption, no name, no mention of Kirk, just tears. Just a mother and her son, and a soft voice saying, "I just want peace now." That's it. That's all. The comments. "Messy, is that Kirk's son?" Wow, she really did it alone. Say what y'all want. She brought a life into the world. Respect. Kirk was in his truck when he saw it. Jasmine. Baby hospital. Lights. He froze. His hand went to his pocket where the sealed envelope still sat. He opened it. Read the line at the bottom again. Request for dismissal of divorce proceedings. He sighed and ripped it in half. Then he tossed the pieces out the window and drove off. The next day, Rashida woke up to 2 messages. One from Jasmine. "I don't expect anything from you, but I thought you should know I named him King because I want him to grow into the kind of man his father never learned how to be." She didn't reply. The second message from her lawyer. "Divorce has been finalized. If you're officially free." She smiled and whispered to herself, "Finally." That night, she posted a photo on Instagram, a mirror selfie in her new home, holding a glass of wine, wearing her own lipstick, standing next to a box labeled "New Contracts." The caption, "Signed, sealed, walked out." The Love and Hip Hop Atlanta reunion taping was supposed to be the end of it all, the final bow after a season packed with betrayal, leaked pregnancies, divorces, and viral meltdowns. But what the cast and crew didn't know was that the most explosive moment was still waiting backstage. Producers were tense. Everyone knew this reunion would be different. Rashida hadn't confirmed until the very last minute. Jasmine was flying in from Houston, and Kirk, he hadn't been seen publicly since the night he ripped his divorce withdrawal papers in half. Security was doubled. The green rooms were split across different levels. Mona Scott-Young was on set personally, pacing, phone in hand, whispering into walkies like it was a crisis command center. And in many ways, it was. The show opened soft, spice-cracked jokes, Young Jock and Carly traded barbs. Erica Mena tried to throw shade, but nobody cared. Everyone was waiting for the segment that had been teased online for 2 weeks. The final table. Rashida, Kirk, Jasmine. The tension was unbearable. First, Kirk was brought out. Fans booed from the virtual audience wall. He looked thinner, paler, like someone who had been haunted by a storm he created but couldn't outrun. Next came Jasmine. She walked slow, carefully. Only a month postpartum, no heels, no jewelry. It's just a black jumpsuit and a silver necklace that read King, the name of her newborn son. Finally, Rashida. All white hair slicked back. Diamond necklock, gleaming under the lights. Not a single ounce of nervousness in her walk. She sat in the center, the other two flanked her ex-husband on one side. Ex-rival on the other. Mona cleared her throat. First of all, thank you all for being here, Rashida. Nodded. Jasmine looked down. Kirk. Silent. Then Mona asked the question that set it all off. Kirk, why did you do it? He paused, rubbed his chin, and for once didn't try to be slick. I don't have a good answer, he said. I think I just never believed she'd really leave. Rashida didn't blink. Kirk continued. I always thought we'd bounce back. I thought she'd yell, cry, throw some stuff, and then we'd wake up the next day and try again. I looked over at her. But this time, she didn't come back. She shouldn't have had to, Jasmine said suddenly, eyes still low. You never protected her. The crowd gasped. Mona leaned forward. What do you mean, Jasmine? Jasmine looked up now, voice clear. He used me. Not just physically. He used me as a distraction. It's a weapon. It's a way to avoid dealing with his own mess. She turned to Rashida. I know you don't owe me anything, but I owe you an apology. A real one. Rashida crossed her arms. Then say it, and don't dress it up. Jasmine nodded. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for being part of your pain, for thinking I could take what was never mine to begin with, for letting a man play us both like we were pawns. I was bitter. And instead of healing, I let that bitterness ruin everything. Silence. Even Mona looked stunned. Then Rashida did something no one expected. She leaned forward. You finally said what I've been waiting to hear for 5 years. Jasmine's eyes filled with tears. I meant it. I know, Rashida said. But that doesn't mean we'll ever be friends. It just means I can finally let the hate go. And with that, closure. The audience on Zoom clapped. Mona took a breath. Rashida. Would you ever take Kirk back? Rashida smirked. No. The answer was firm. Final. No hesitation. But, she added, I'll always care about the version of him that used to fight for us. That version died. Long time ago, I just finally buried him. Kirk wiped a tear from his eye. Then, he spoke again. There's something I need to say before this ends. Mona nodded. Go ahead. Kirk looked at Rashida. I wasn't going to tell you this because I knew it wouldn't change anything. But the night you walked out, I went to therapy for the first time in my life. He pulled out a paper from his coat. It was a letter, handwritten. I wrote this, but never sent it. He read aloud, You were never the weak one. You were the strongest person I ever met. I just kept testing the strength instead of respecting it. And when you finally broke, that wasn't your failure. It was my last warning, and I ignored it. The room was dead silent. Kirk continued. I don't deserve your love. I don't even deserve this moment. But I wanted you to know that losing you didn't just break me. It forced me to meet myself for the first time. And I don't like the man I met. He folded the paper, set it down. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want peace now, even if it's from a distance. Rashida nodded slowly. I hope you find it, Jasmine added. We all need peace. And Mona closed the segment with a soft, that's the most healing thing I've ever seen on this stage. Backstage, Rashida sat alone for a moment, breathing, processing. The producer walked over. You okay? She smiled. Yeah, for once. I really am. She stood up, grabbed her purse, and walked out the studio. No security, no fanfare, just peace. 2 days later, VH1 aired a teaser. Rashida rebuilt and unbothered the special featuring never-before-seen footage. The final divorce hearing. And exclusive interviews with her kids. The trailer ended with her voice saying, "You can't heal in the same house where you got sick. And baby, I've moved out for good." WHEW. From side chicks to surprise babies, walkouts to whispered apologies. This season just gave us a reality TV masterpiece, and Rashida. Sis didn't just survive, she ascended. Now it's your turn. We want to know. Was Jasmine's apology too little, too late, or did she finally grow up? Did Kirk actually mean that letter? Or was it just a last-minute PR move? And most importantly, did Rashida make the right call by never looking back? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Should she give Kirk a second chance or stay building her empire in peace? And be honest, who do you think really changed? Hit that like, subscribe, and turn on notifications because next week's exclusive teaser of Rebuilt and Unbothered drops, and baby, the real globe is just getting started. Hashtag Team Rashida, hashtag She Walked Out, hashtag Love and Hip Hop Chaos.